becoming a quote-unquote vocational pastor, and I ended up with over $50,000 in student loans. And my wife went to the same school. So you can imagine how that went. Well, Trellis is a group that we partner with, and what they have established is a system where across 3 years, a student will intern at a church while they are also getting an accelerated bachelor's degree. And in 3 years, they will walk away with a degree, with 3 years of on-the-job training, and if they go through the program and do the right steps with it, keep their grades up, do well where they're at, they will walk away from it debt-free. That's huge. And when you give to Altitude, one of the places that we give to is Trellis. And so your giving makes an impact, not just here in this community, but also far beyond our community and across the world. You are training up young leaders as we speak. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. If you'd like to give, you can give at any of the giving boxes, or there's the QR code online or on the boxes there. Your generosity makes a huge difference. One quick announcement before we get started. Next week, we are going to welcome Save Our Youth, another one of our partners who, not just out there somewhere, but literally right here in our community, are working to mentor teens through partnerships with churches. We have at least one of our mentors who's been here. Rick Foster's unfortunately sick today. But you've seen the video of him and Elijah and the difference that can make in someone's life. Well, next week, Save Our Youth is going to be here, and we have at least 6 students right here in this community, right here at Arvada High and in this church who are looking for mentors. So we've been talking about mentoring over the last few weeks, and it's time to start putting some rubber to the road on that. So next week, they are going to have the list of names and a nice little pamphlet brochure for each of the students. And we are going to be looking for people to enter into at least a 1-year mentoring relationship where you will meet once a week with those students. It's life-changing, literally, for you and for the student. So I just want to begin asking you to pray. Is that where God is giving you the keys to the kingdom? And ladies, specifically, most of them are females. So it doesn't matter what your age number looks like. It doesn't matter where you've been. They are looking for people who are a little farther down the road than they are. So thank you for that. All right, so today we're going to do something a little different. I want to invite my panelists up here. And while they're coming up, I just want to say that we have been digging into 1 Timothy throughout these last few weeks. And so today we're in 1 Timothy chapter 5. I'm not going to read a bunch of it because of the format of what we're doing here. We're going to live out a bunch of it. So what 1 Timothy chapter 5 talks about, as Paul has been mentoring and talking to this young leader named Timothy, he starts to express this idea of what does it mean to show honor and respect. Honor and respect in mentoring. And verse 17, it says, "The elders who are good leaders should be considered worthy of double honor, especially those who work hard at preaching and teaching. For the scripture says, 'Do not muzzle an ox while it is treading out the grain, for the worker is worthy of his wages.' Don't accept an accusation against an elder unless it's supported by 2 or 3 witnesses." Now, elder in this case may also refer to someone who is a mentor. When you think of the word elder, you think of either someone who is older than you, or perhaps, if you were raised in church culture, somebody who is kind of a deacon or a leader in the church. This implies both. But what's interesting is, if you look in other texts where Paul is speaking into the church, he actually flips the paradigm a bit there too. Not just to respect the elders, but elders, parents, leaders, to respect those that they lead, or that they are leading, and it says that there should be a mutual honor that happens. So today, I want to honor a few guests who are going to help be a part of what we're doing here. So I'm going to give a quick introduction, but then I want you guys to introduce yourselves. John, can you make sure that microphone's on for Judy? So we have kind of a diverse group from various walks of life here. Dylan, you're closest to me here. He's going to introduce himself. Pastor Ron, you may know, but he's still going to introduce himself. Judy, and then Marley. So let's go ahead and start right here with you. 1 minute introduction. Say who you are, what you're doing in life.
My name's Dylan. It's summer break, so I'm kind of just sitting at home playing video games all day. Because I don't feel like doing homework during the summer. I do have homework to do, though. I take a bunch of advanced classes, not because I want to, but because I should. And I'm okay at English, kind of. I plan on going to Germany to study English. That's a choice, right? Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dylan. Pastor Ron?
Well, I've been at this church about 10 years, and honestly, it's like there was a point in that when God called me to this that I almost said no because of my wife, Renee. I didn't want to put her through something that was, I knew that ministry, pastoral ministry, can be hard, especially on spouses. But she was my ministry partner, and she stepped up and she loved it. And so for me, that was I don't know, just a blessing. As some of you or most of you know, that she passed away about 3 months ago. And so God is kind of directing me in a new direction. I'm planning on retiring here in the fall and moving on to another state. That's what I say. And I want to tell you this one thing: I'm not retiring from being a Christian. I'm not retiring from ministry. I'm retiring from my full-time pastoral ministry. And so that's, I think that's important to know and understand.
Is this working? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Judy, and most everybody here knows me, and I'm going around cleaning this place and making sure other people are cleaning it too. But the most important thing I feel is on Wednesdays when we feed the high school kids is talking to the kids and just raising them up and letting them know how much they are loved. And many of these kids, for a long time, didn't speak to us. They would just stare into oblivion, but now they come in and they call me Mama J, and it's just a wonderful feeling to know that they care now about themselves, and because we care about them. So I'm going to hand this over to Marley. Marley's
Thank you, Judy.
very special.
Make sure when you chat, you get the microphone kind of closer to you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Hi, I'm Marley. I'm not really doing much now because it's summer, but I'm looking for a job because I need a car. But I don't really know what to say other than, I really enjoy having this place, as somewhere else that I can come and talk to people, just openly about anything that I need or problems that I have in my life. So it's been really nice having Judy and Chandra and everybody here. That's really it. I don't know what else to say.
Thank you. All right, so I have a few questions for you guys tied around the concept of mentoring, because it's one thing to hear me say, hey, Scripture says you should invest your life in others. It's another thing to hear real stories of real people that God really loves that are seeing this impact in their life, whether from being mentored or from mentoring others. So my first question, and we're not going in a prescribed order, so if, just kind of grab the microphone as you have a thought. Have you ever had a mentor in your life? This doesn't have to be just spiritual mentoring. It can be at school, can be at work. And what was that impact on your life? Have you had a mentor, and what was that impact like?
Yes, I have. When I lived in Grand Junction, there's this like program called the Partners Program, which is literally just mentors for like troubled youth. I don't know. And I had a partner for 3 years, and she was amazing. Like literally, whenever I had issues with my family, my school troubles, anything, like, of course, I had my mom and like my personal therapist, but she was an actual like friend who it felt like she like cared about my feelings more than just someone whose job it was to listen to them. So it was really nice because she also took me to do things that I never really got to do with my family, because like a lot of my family was kind of just at home. So that was really nice, and it definitely like, I don't know, it made me realize that there are other people that outside of your family that like, I don't know, they don't have to be your family to care about you and love you and want to make your life better. So, yeah.
I've never had a mentor, but I see mentoring in other people's lives and how it does make a big difference. And you can mentor in many ways. I think we all mentor the kids that come into this building, but I appreciate knowing, I never knew that about her before, so I appreciate knowing that.
Well, I've been a Christian over 50 years, and I've had actually quite a few that, not maybe formally mentors, but some of them were. And I can think of, when I was thinking through the question, because we got the question ahead of time, but I've had like 5 different ones for sure that have impacted my life in different ways. That from the point where I first became a Christian, where I was, looking through in ministry, and then actually even when I was in ministry and stuff like that. Some of you might, few of you might know Bill Taylor, who was I considered him one of my mentors as I was pastoring here in the state and stuff as well. And they made, it wasn't like they taught me things. They inspired me. And I could see their leadership, and they so that I could, kind of follow their lead and stuff. That was I think the important thing, that they even took the time and cared about my life and poured into my life. Like I said, just to be there and stuff. That was important to me.
Any thoughts? All right. Next, have you ever mentored someone? And if not, how would you speak into the life of someone who asked you to mentor them? So mentoring, again, could be like, hey, there was a person at work I helped train up, there's, et cetera. But have you ever personally mentored someone?
I've never done a one-on-one mentoring, but back in the day, we ran a teen center, and I had many kids that were just really needed help, and they needed life spoken into them. I had one kid in particular who came to me one day, and she said, I don't want to be like my mom and dad. I want to do things different, but I come home from school and I don't have dinner, but there's lines of cocaine on the table. And so this girl was so struggling so much, and I didn't know about mentoring, but I guess I'd say that we took her under our wing and just helped her through it and spoke to her and said, you don't have to follow in those footsteps. You don't have to do that. She was about 15, I think, at the time, and there were times when, her mom would promise to pick her up from the teen center, and her mom just forgot to pick her up. And so, I think that mentoring on my part came with going back there, getting her, making sure she was safe. And I didn't even realize I was actually mentoring at the time, but she needed that. She needed that help, and I think that we can all do that. And I just want to add one quick thing. I hear a lot of people saying, oh, these kids today. Well, you know what? These kids today, many of them are victims. There's nothing wrong with the kids today. They just need love spoken to them. They need someone to take them by the hand and say, you know what, you're awesome. You are awesome, and you can do this. I have one kid right now who hangs out at the teen center in our garage every single day. And he came to me and said, I don't think I'm going to graduate. I said, why? He goes, well, I was messing around. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, and now I don't know if I can do it. He said, but I'm going to go online and get my GED. And I said, you can do that. I said, I want you to make me a promise. Next year at this time, I want you to come in this building, find me, and say, I just graduated. And he looked at me. I said, you can do it. And that's where we come in. We have to be that kind of people for the kids in this community.
At least my age as a teenager is a lot more peer-to-peer, so like a friend to friend, and it's a lot more voice, like a voice of reason. So your friend tells you they're going to go do something, and you have to be like, no, you can't do that. It's not going to help you. Or you'll be like, okay, maybe do that, but also be caution. But also do it with caution. Like, don't just go full force and do it. You gotta back up, see what you're doing, and then do it. And then I think there's a lot of contradictory inside of mentoring. Like, you can't just agree with everything that somebody says. And to mentor, you have to make them realize the other side of an argument. So, like, if somebody comes up to you annoyed about their mom, or like, this has happened to me a lot, somebody comes up to me and they're mad about what their parents did, you have to be like, well, why did your parents do that? What did you do that made your parents mad at you? And, you know, if it's all the parents' fault, then why is it the parents' fault? What happened to the parent? And maybe should you try to find help for your parent, because that'll help you in the future too.
I agree, like what Dylan said, just like, because I've never mentored people besides my friends and stuff. And yeah, just really like, you cannot tell them what they want to hear. A lot of the time it's not going to be what they want to hear, but that's why a lot of my friends love me, is because I'm so honest. Like, if you are doing something that I don't think is going to benefit you, or like, I mean, if it's not that bad, have fun. But like, if it's seriously not going to benefit you or make it worse, I'm going to tell you straight up, like, hey, I don't think this is the best decision. Like, you have free will, but I would recommend thinking about it more, sleep on it or whatever, or just think about it a lot more before jumping into rash decisions. So yeah, that's probably the only type of mentoring I've done, is just being a form of advice for some of my friends.
That's awesome.
So one of the roles of a mentor is to call out what you see God doing in their life, not just to say, stop it, that's stupid, or like you guys said, like, you know, not to agree with them, but just speaking from your own experience, how much does it mean when someone calls out the good in you and someone calls out the God in you?
Recently, I've actually only had one friend group that has like been those people. I didn't realize that there were people like that. I thought everybody was just kind of crappy and, you know, cared about themselves and not really about anybody else. And so realizing that I do like finally have friends that actually like, they tell me all the time, you're so pretty, you're so great. Like, they compliment me, and that's like, we just raise each other up, and it's so like, I don't know, it may seem little, but seriously, on my worst days, hearing my friend just go, I love you, you're beautiful, you mean a lot to me, like, that is so much in my mind. So yeah, it really does mean a lot.
Yeah, positive reinforcement is a really big deal, you know. Like she said, telling someone they're pretty or they look nice, or, you know, I see it every day when the kids walk by and they have their head down, and I'll right away call them out by name and say, hey, how you doing today? And go over and give them a hug. It means so much to them, much more than we think it does.
Yeah, I think that we have enough for us in our lives to put us down. I think we need to build people up. And I've had, you know, a lot of people in my life, as well as myself, just, you know, as I'm working through with different people and stuff like that, just to give them encouragement, let them know that they're doing a good job. And I think that's important. It's not like you said. It's not so much teaching them. It's about encouraging them and to do better, to be better. There's this one time it's like, and this was not even actually a spiritual thing. It was a guy that I knew. He was my one of my employees under me, and he was struggling to understand how to even read a ruler, a tape measure, and this is why I was working as a maintenance supervisor and stuff, and I took time to show him how to do that and stuff like that and helped him along. Years later, Renee and I was walking along in, I think over here at, used to be the mall over here, and this guy stopped me, and I didn't recognize him, and it was so funny because he thanked me for what I did, because he became a supervisor and went on and did really well in his job, and he said it was because of what I did.
That's awesome.
I think it's like good deeds are more than just like visual, like somebody telling you you're pretty. So I think it's really fun, or it feels nice when I do something and I don't realize that I'm helping somebody when I'm doing it, and somebody's like, "Oh, thank you," or just like you do something and it's something that you normally do, and somebody calls it out as positive, and it shows you as a person that you do good things.
Yeah, that's good. All right, the last two questions are kind of tied together. In the text in 1 Timothy chapter 5, it says we are to show honor to our elders, those who are beyond us. But then, as I mentioned, Paul also talked a lot about what it means to show honor to the younger generations as not just one way. It's not just I demand you respect me, but how do we respect each other? So first, how do you show respect to those who are of an older generation?
Well, first off, trying to understand that they are from an older generation, which sometimes that might be difficult, but that's definitely the biggest one. And also just I don't know, I love talking to people who are older than me because they've experienced so many things, and whether their opinions or their morals line up with mine, it's always nice to hear their point of view and just their perspective on things. So, I don't know, I just try and honor my elders I feel like a lot of people don't, how do I say this? I feel like a lot of teens or just people my age don't really, talk to elders or, take them into part of their lives, or I don't know if that makes any sense. But I really try and, if someone's talking to me, be engaged in the conversation and, actually try and put my opinion in, not just be yeah, So I think that's really important because I notice, and I've had people say it, that's really, they appreciate that I actually try and engage in the conversation. Besides that, just, unless you've been disrespectful to me, I'm gonna show you my full respect, whether you're a kid or an adult, but especially just with adults, I don't know, like I said, understand that they're not kids. So I don't know.
I guess just listening, just having open ears. I personally, I have really big ears and a really small mouth, so I listen a lot more than I speak. And I mean, my dad's yelled at me about it before because I don't defend myself, but I feel like I don't defend myself because I don't feel like I need to. And I think respect in elders is a lot to do with that, because I see people older than me, just elders, and they're living their life, they're just walking around, and then I think back and I'm like, do they remember when people got mad at them when they were my age, and how much does it really matter? So I guess just listening to what they have to say and then taking their advice, and even if you're not going to take their advice, act like you're going to take their advice. Because I feel like that might show a little bit more respect than just brushing it off.
That was great. Ron, Judy?
Well, it's hard for me to say because I am the elder. I'll be 78 in July, so there's not too many even in this church, that are older than me, but I still would hold them in high regard and listen to what they have to say. And just like Marley said, you know, be engaged when you talk to them and understand where they're coming from. It's very hard to do sometimes, but, you know, we have to feed them as well as the younger ones. And I mean feed them spiritually by showing them that respect.
So, what does it look like then? And we'll start with you guys first. What does it mean to show respect and honor to the younger generation? And then for you two, what is the honor and respect you hope that the older generation would show you?
Well, I think that living my life and stuff and the mistakes that I made, I understand and look at them. And I often think about my kids and stuff like that as they're growing and stuff like that, is not that that they need to make those same mistakes as I did. And so, so I don't try to like correct them or anything like that and stuff. But I really, I guess when I talk about my boys and stuff, then they're in their 30s. I respect them and honor them a lot because of what they're doing in their lives, because they have excelled greatly beyond myself of what I've done in my own life, being a father, being a husband, and I honor them a lot and stuff. And so I respect those who, in that way, because it's like, I know it's like, for me, it's like, I don't have any illusions. It's like I'm this great person, because I know all the, all the like, you know, bad stuff that's just like that I've done, or different things, stuff like that. But I think knowing and understanding that, I guess, helps me to honor them in many ways. So
I think it's important to acknowledge them for who they are and speak good into them. But I know I could learn a lot from the younger generation. I don't ever want to put myself in the position of lording over them or thinking I'm more important to them than them, rather, but to listen to what they have to say, you know, like, what do you think about this? Or, you know, I work with the community service kids, and when I give them a task to do, I don't hover over them. I say, okay, go clean kids' min for me, make sure the trash is done, da 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 da. When they're done, I say, did you do it? Yep, it's all done. I accept that, their word, and I will never go in there and check on it in front of them, because that might bring them down. They might think, well, if she doesn't trust me, she got to go check what I'm doing. You know, I might check what they're doing, but I'm also going to say, I don't have to check on you because I know you're doing a great job. And that's the important thing, is always to help them feel good about themselves. And I feel like I've been blessed to have these community service kids. That's how I met Marley. And she always did a great job, you know. She was very, very quiet at first, but then she'd come in and she'd say, you know, that needs to get reorganized, and I'm really good at that. And I'm like, go for it, you know. and she would do it. And I think that acknowledgement is majorly important.
I think kind of building off of that, it's a fun perspective to look at, like when you were 5 and you looked at a tree, it was vibrant. And then when you grew up, it got less and less vibrant and more dull. And I think that's a great perspective to really put into like just visions. Because like when you're younger, you see things through a lot less tainted eye, and you see things less distorted than when you get older, and you have a different perspective. And perspectives are very important to have a lot of them to get one cohesive image for everybody to be able to follow. And I guess just like respect going down is also listening and not just throwing away our problems like trash. And just like, listening.
It's important, like, to respect younger people, even for me, like people who are younger than me, just because, everybody's a person, everybody has their own thoughts and the way that they think. And so, like, even if, I don't know, say a kid is talking to me and I don't necessarily understand, like, what they're trying to tell me about or something, like, I'm gonna, like I just said about, like, elder people too, like, just really be engaged because it does mean something to them. Like, my friends' little sisters, they love having conversations with me because I'll really try and, like, actually understand it and talk to them and go along with it instead of just like, psh, like, you're a little kid, I don't know. And just, like, me personally, I appreciate it when elder people respect me, just like, as an example, going into something, say I've never met you, you've never met me, sharing the same respect that, like, literally we have different perspectives, we've experienced different things, and we both are smart in our own ways, like, and not feeling like, I don't know, on my end, psh, you're old, your opinions are outdated, like, whatever, and on your side, not feeling like, well, you're young, you don't know anything. So just having the mutual understanding of we both can learn more, we both know stuff, like, and just when you have that sort of mindset going into any, like, conversation, I can talk to anybody no matter what age they are and feel like, I don't know, I'm actually having, like, a decent conversation. So as long as I get that respect back and I don't feel like, I don't know, I'm getting put off just because I'm a kid, then you have my full attention, my full respect, everything. So it's really important.
That's awesome. Thank you. Well, you guys stay here for just 1 second, and the band is going to come up in just a moment. But I hope this has been a useful experiment to see perspectives on this. Because when we come at Scripture, we see it through our lens, but we have to remember the lens that it was through then and what it was talking about. And Jesus said something very particular. We started this series with, he said to his disciples, I am giving you the keys to the kingdom. And so you've seen me hold up a couple of these as I've preached, and not to give away the ending here, but in 2 weeks on Father's Day, I am going to give each one of you one of these keys. And what they are is a reminder that Jesus trusts you and has entrusted the future of the church, of the kingdom of heaven on earth in Arvada as it is in heaven. And the kingdom of heaven is the rule and reign of Jesus active in our lives so that it brings peace, the word shalom, the fullness and wholeness of peace, not just to our lives, but to communities. And as we talked about, when your parents hand you the keys to the car and say, hey, go get some milk, what they're doing is they're saying, I trust you to be able to do this. So before we stand up and cheer for our panelists here, I want to give each one of you a key to, oops, not that one. Oh, I want to give each of you a key to the kingdom here. Key to the church. That's right. Yeah, these open any doors, even though they're very odd shaped, but they're a little old fashioned. They're a little awesome. What I encourage you to do is put them on your keychain, your purse, and just every time you see that, just remember Jesus actually trusts you. Isn't that awesome? Now, before we go back into worship, I want you to know next week we're going to do something also a little special. We're going to have Save Our Youth here. I said that. We just finished the details with them this morning. Otherwise, I would have told you this a lot sooner. But next Sunday after church, we're doing a potluck. So I encourage you to bring something, but it's also a lunch and learn, because Save Our Youth is going to talk for about 30 minutes about what it means to practically mentor, and then they are going to invite us right here in this building, right here in this community, to mentor a youth. So I want to encourage you to pray. And I ask you to join me in prayer. And then as we transition into worship, I want you to give a big hand to them. So Lord Jesus. Oh, all right, let's do that first. Okay. Give them a bigger hand than that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lord Jesus, God, we just pray that something that was said today would stick in our hearts. God, help us to see the situation in life we are in, the world around us, even what you are doing in our community a little bit differently because of today than we did when we came in here. Shift our perspective to see things more through your eyes and less through our limited perspective. And Jesus, as we enter into a musical act of worship, may it not just be words that we set to a specific tune or melody because they sound good, but may they be affirmations from our heart that you are good. May we respond to all that you are with all that we are. And as we enter this space, would we be receptive to prayer, to hear your voice, that prayer is not just us talking to you, but it's you talking to us, and to hear, God, you believe in me. God, you trust me. No matter how far away I've walked from you, when I turn around, you're always right there. Not because you're hounding me, but you are pursuing me because you love me. And God, you trust me with the keys to the kingdom. So may I walk in that, even if I don't know what it means or what it looks like, more and more. Family, would you stand as you're able? Move about the room if you'd like to go to one of the altars or to the cross at the back, and let's worship.